we should talk a bit more about Popper, just because he's crucial to most introduction to the philosophy of science courses. Maybe falsification and its role in his philosophy of science might be something worth covering.
Okay, so let's see. I'll try not to be too glib about this. When I first started teaching, I had a colleague who was a Popperian student, and in the department that I was teaching then, I got to be known as the Popper Stopper.
The Popper Stopper, I like that.
Because I think Popper went just too far, and he oversimplifies many, many, many things in my view. On the other hand, I think it was very good. It was a good event that he was there and it happened, and he was clear about things. I think it was a very good thing that he was there. So Popper was famous for putting forward a view called falsificationism, the idea that scientists should put forward theories or claims about the world and then attempt to falsify them. And that you could never confirm a hypothesis, according to Popper, or some parts of Popper. So he modified this at certain points. So you should never say, you have good reason to think that this is closer to the truth than that. Although he did try to develop a conception of closer to the truth, actually, which was one of the interesting projects that you might do in philosophy of science. This was very, very influential idea. I mean, that's very important. It influenced, one place we might want to follow up, it influenced a whole way, or it's very much connected to a whole part of the way statistics is done. And statistics is very important in doing science. And I don't know if you want to get into this later, but now there's something going on called the statistics wars. So it's been going on for a while, but the wars have been starting up again, apparently, from some emails I've gotten recently.
Oh, yeah. Well, probability is certainly on my list for a topic that we need to get to, especially in conjunction with something you've already mentioned, which is laws of nature. But you're right that I would like to hold off on that for a little while.
Okay, about Popper and this. So I was very much brought up at the graduate school I went to, one that you know about well, at Stanford. One of my teachers was Patrick Suppi, so I'm sure has a big influence, even though he
still does
for a while. As a Bayesian, I learned about the approach to understanding scientific inference via something called Bayes' theorem. Now that also can be oversimplified a lot, and maybe we want to talk about that a little bit more later on. But when I first started doing philosophy of science at the department I was at then, it was sort of Bayesians versus Popperians. I'm not sure this is even the way anybody would think about things nowadays, but in fact I edited an edition of Synthèse, I think called, it's the very first thing I did, I think, in philosophy, Bayesians versus Popperians. And basically Bayesians thought of scientific inference as scientists start out with certain degrees of belief or amounts of confidence in various hypotheses. They then do experiments, they get evidence, and they update the degrees of belief in accordance with certain rules which seem to follow from principles of rationality, which we can talk about why they make sense. Popperians really didn't like this. And so that was what the fight was over in those days. And in fact, in statistics, the two approaches to statistics, the broad approaches to statistics, I'm oversimplifying, are so-called orthodox or significance testing on the one hand, and Bayesian on the other hand. And really, that's kind of like a following of the dispute between Bayesians and Popperians in philosophy of science.